Good morning, guys. It's BJ Holland. I'm from North Sydney, Nova Scotia, in Cape Breton. It's a little island on the eastern point of Canada. It's where I was born and raised. Well, this is kind of like my story about how I got caught on drugs and how I beat them. But, I'll start out when I was a kid. I was just your average, normal kid. Came from a good home, had a great family. I was never abused, never neglected. I had everything I needed. My parents, my sisters, everybody was great. Had a perfect childhood. But it all started as soon as I was going into junior high school. I traded my lunch, my bag of chips, or my pizza burger and a chocolate milk for some bottle tokes of hash. That's how it all started, was with the hash. So what I did is I traded it, and I did 5 bottle tokes, and that was it. I was friggin' stoned, and that's what started my mission on drugs, because I liked being up on that cloud. I guess it's like it's unexplainable. I can't even explain it. But I started with hash, and I started with weed, and then eventually I was hooked on that. I was doing that every day. And then I graduated to nerve pills, which once I got into nerve pills, man, then your body becomes immune to these kind of things. Then I was toast. I was 12 years old, 13 years old, wired on nerve pills, smoking weed, smoking hash, and then when I came 14, 15, 16, I started getting into the booger sugar, right? I started, getting into the coke. And once I get into that, then that's where the game changes, right? So I had to start selling drugs to maintain my habit. I was a drug dealer. I hate to say it, but I was up until about, a year ago. Not even a year ago. I sold cocaine for 25 years. You know what I mean? I was a player, man. I was in that game. But once I moved away, I started getting into painkillers. I broke my hand, and then the doctors had me on Oxycontins, and that was the end of it. I was addicted by probably the second week into my medication, right? Because they felt so good, right? And then once I got on them, they're really expensive. That took a lot of money, man. Like, I was spending $1,000 a day just on my habit, right? Like my habit was insane. I was taking 10 Oxy 80s a day. I used to have to take an Oxy just to get out of bed. I couldn't move without taking one Oxy 80 just to get out of bed. And then after that, I had to find a way to get high every day. I could not get high because I would be sick as a dog. I can't even explain how sick. You can't move, you can't talk, you can't eat. There was one point where I was so sick for 5 days, I almost died. I was throwing up blood. I was so dehydrated. I pinched my skin, and my skin would still stand because I had no fluids in between my skin and my muscles. So I threw up 2 buckets of blood almost because I tore a hole in my esophagus from throwing up so much from being sick from these oxys. And that's the first time I tried to quit. And then I said, to the hell with this, man. I can't be sober because it hurts. I'm dying. So then I started searching for people with prescriptions. And I found 2 guys that had prescriptions, and they didn't know what they were. They didn't know how bad these pills were. But all they knew is that it made them sick. But it made me sick not having them. So I was buying these 2 guys' scripts for almost 15 years. And then they died. And then I had to get clean because I had nowhere to get them. And I was doing so much a day just alone with the oxys. My daily habit was probably $500-600. But I was never into needles. I never got into needles because I was scared of needles. Thank God. Because I'd probably be dying right now. You know what I mean? Like I never, or I'd be dead. I would have overdosed so quickly because my tolerance for drugs was so high. I was sniffing a ½ ounce of blow every day. Right? Every day. You know, that's almost, you know, $800 in coke a day. But I was selling it. I was making, oh my God. The money was awesome. There's no money like coke money, I'll tell you that. But anyway, you know, so I had to make a choice. Like, do I live or do I die? You know, I was messing up my family. I said things I shouldn't have said. I said things I didn't mean. You know, I did a lot of bad shit, and I've hurt a lot of people. You know, when I was away, I got involved with some different groups of people, and I was a tough guy. I was the guy going out beating the head off people, you know, just to collect for people. Like I was the. If you see me coming, you know you're in trouble. You know, you see me coming, you know you only had minutes to get me that money, or I don't care who was in your house. Your mother, your father, your sisters, your kids, your uncles, your grandparents, you were getting it. And I was going to make sure you were going to pay that money to these people. You know what I mean? Because I got paid off of getting paid, right? So anyway, that's the major scope of how I get into stuff. But here's the thing, kids and people and adults. Once you start one drug, you get bored of it very quickly. You don't get as high as you used to get high. So you try to chase it with something else, or you try it a different way, right? So many ways and ways you can do stuff. It's amazing, right? You know, but like my family, you know, I've hurt them so much throughout the years. And, you know, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I got the best family. I had the best father. I got the best mother, sisters, nieces, nephews. Like, I love everybody. Like, they were my life. I used to walk around with my nieces and nephews just because I love them so much. You know what I mean? Like, I had to be with them, but I was right out of it on dope. I don't know if anybody knew, right? But once you get hooked, and there's nothing you can do. There's really nothing you can do. And there was nothing in the town for me that I grew up in to help me, right? You know, I just got worse, and I just got better at being bad, right? I got better at being bad. I was one bad mother friendser, man. You know what I mean? But now, it took me almost a year to make up my mind that I wanted to be clean. I didn't want to die, and I was very close to dying. I was hospitalized 4 or 5 times, but every time I went to the hospital, they looked at me like I was a piece of shit. So I stopped going to the hospital. I started dying at home. You know what I mean? I started to lay at home, and I started to, that's how I did my withdrawal. I was at home when I never had any pills, right? And there's times where I damn near died. Shaking, convulsating, throwing up. Like, I was almost freaking dead. I couldn't believe the state I had myself in. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. But nobody around me knew because I had to be that strong guy, right? I was the guy that went around and beat up the tough, crazy people. I was that guy. You know what I mean? Because I was crazy. And I was tough. So I could do it. And that's how I made my name up in these big cities. Because I didn't care who you were, what you were, where you were from, or who you were connected to. If you owed shit, man, I was going to fucking beat you black and blue until you paid. I made people move out of provinces because I was that on them, right? People, you know, I was a scary guy. But I'm not that guy anymore because I had to change my ways. Because if somebody never put a bullet in my head, I was going to put a bullet in someone else's, you know. I've been involved in, you know, gang fights. You know, I've been hurt. You know, I've had some steel in me. You know, in both ways, man. You know, I almost died a few times. Had my throat slit, shot, stabbed. Like I've had a rough life, man. Not because of the way I was raised, but because of the choices that I made. And once you get into them choices, you can't get out. Like, you can't. I was lucky to get out because I was a tough guy. Nobody could tell me what to do. If I didn't want to do it, I ain't doing it. Who the hell are you to tell me what I'm going to do? I'm going to break your jaw now, right? You don't tell me nothing. But anyway, the whole point of it is once you get hooked, you can't get off. And that's what I'm trying to get to people. Like, once you start, you're going to go to places you didn't want to go. And it took me places that I didn't want to go. But I went there, and when I was there, I loved it. I loved violence. I loved seeing the fear in people's faces. You know, I loved all of it. I loved the rush. I loved going and knocking on someone's door and me, one guy, seeing 10, 15 people run. I love that. It got me high. I used to beat up people and get a boner. That's how much I used to like fighting. But anyway, enough of that retardedness. But yeah, like, I was so hooked, and I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to ask. I didn't know. And right now, like, the town I'm in, North Sydney, it has nothing for the kids, right? Even the older people. Like, I shouldn't say this, but people have to do what they got to do to survive. You know, it's not a good thing to sell drugs, but, you know, if you got kids and you love your kids and you can't find a job and you can't go away, or you're caught up in the system or the liquid handcuffs or whatever, like, you can't go. You can't better yourself. The government doesn't help you. It didn't help me, right? I was just considered a danger to society. Like, I was considered, you know, like a violent offender. You know what I mean? I've had guys come after me, 4, 5, 6 of them in carloads. I beat the shit out of the whole carload. And they charge me. You know what I mean? Like, how does that happen? You come to get me, and then I beat the head off all you guys, and these are all turned into rats calling the cops. But that's the life I chose, man. You know, I couldn't get out of it. People needed me because I was the fucking, you know, pardon my French, sorry. I was the means of getting things done, and I could do it very well, right? I could reverse psychology you and bring you right into your own trap, right? I could set you up, making you think everything is perfect, and then, bam, I got you. And anyway, I made a lot of money at doing that, man. But you know what? I bet there's a lot of people that probably want to put a bullet in my head for doing the things I've done. But I'm trying to make my wrongs right and my rights wrong now. Like, I'm trying to fix everything. I don't want to live the way I lived. And now I've been sober for almost 11 months, right? Yeah, BJ, you know. So, you know, I didn't have anybody to help me. I had to fight it and do it all on my own because I burnt all my bridges. Nobody cared about me because I just hurt them so much. And once you have nobody in your corner, it's so hard to get help because nobody wants to be around you because they're scared to death. They're scared of what you're going to do, you know. But I was never a bad guy to people that way. Like, I might have been a bully or picked on people, you know, not bad. The people I've ever hurt or beat up were rats. And back in that day, you don't rat. Even now, you don't rat. Like, to me, ratting's wrong, you know? Don't rat on nobody ever because you know what? You don't know what people are going through, right? Everybody that's stuck in the struggle of drugs, they need help. It's help that everybody needs. It's not whatever everybody, you know, it's help. Everybody needs help, and there's none. What you have to do is you got to start talking to one another. You got to start getting it out. You have to, until you admit that you got a problem and that your life revolves around these drugs. Until you admit that and break that cycle, you're never going to get anywhere. You're going to die. I have seen 100 bodies or more. I've seen people drop dead around me. I've seen people, you know, bullets. I've seen a lot of things that a guy from a little town in Cape Breton shouldn't have seen. But I seen them, right? Because that's the life I chose. But now I'm trying to fix all them things that I've done wrong. And I don't know how, because I never learned the ways when I was younger to do it. I'm 40 years old now, and I have just as much as I had when I was 15. You know, I've made millions of dollars selling drugs, but I got nothing to show for it. It's retarded. It's crazy. But I had an entourage of 20, 30 people in these cities. You got to feed these people. You got to clothe these people. You got to take care of them. You got to get them high. You got to do everything. So all the drugs that I've sold in my life, I got nothing to prove for it or show for it. You know, it was almost like it's a waste of my life. And I did waste my life. I wasted my whole life. Married, divorced, kids, love my kids, you know. But I ruined my life. Straight up. My life was ruined. And I ruined it. I don't know where to look. Here or there. But I ruined my life. Nobody did it for me. I did it myself. But what I want to do now is I want to try to help people get clean. Right? Like if you need somebody to talk to, if you need somebody to be around just to listen to you, call me. Message me. I've been there, man. I've done it. It's hard. It's the hardest thing I ever had to do. Like, ever. Like, I have never had to take such care and time and fix myself mentally because I didn't know. I don't know. And there's some things I still don't know. I'm learning as I go. But I know I was hooked. And I was hooked for a good 25 years. That's a long time. I still have my life. I still have my mind. You know, I'm lucky. I know that. I am one lucky guy. But like I say, you can't, like, it starts with one, man, and then it's gone. It starts with one and then it's gone. Like, I played hockey, you know, I played baseball. My parents did everything they could for me. I did everything I could, but I chose to get into drugs. And I was a drug dealer for almost my whole life. You know, I hate to say it, but I was. I had to. I had no choice because I had to pay for my drugs, right? Even though I was the man in certain places, a lot of people never knew what I was on because I could carry myself well. I could be wired on 10 oxy-80s and you wouldn't have a clue. You wouldn't know because I was a functioning drug addict. I was a functioning drug addict. You couldn't tell. But yet I was so looped. Fucking right out of my mind. I was out to lunch. You know what I mean? But it all started with a puff. One puff, it started. Right? So kids, you can't, you have to think of your future. When you're doing, it's not cool to be a drug addict, right? Back in my day, it was almost like it was cool to be high, right? It's not cool anymore. Look at me. I'm 40 years old and I got nothing. Nothing. But the clothes on my back. That's all I got. I got nothing, man. Who wants a guy that's 40 years old with nothing? I'm probably going to die a lonely old man. I'll probably never have a wife. I'll probably never, you know what I mean? Like, now I'm fixed, I hope. Like, you know, I'm still an addict. I'm going to be an addict forever. It's minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. I take it minute by minute, second by second. Because I don't know if tomorrow's even going to come. I could die in my sleep from all the... I don't know what's wrong in here. I know my blood's good and I'm healthy. But I don't know how long my heart's going to keep ticking. I don't know the damage I've done to my insides and my livers. Or my liver, you know. Like, I don't know. But what I want to do is I want to help people now. If you ever need to talk, message me. I'm here. Right? I feel your pain. I know your pain. And I've been through it all. I've done it all. Over and over again. I've probably done a few $1 million worth of drugs. This nose is worth millions of dollars. You know, like, what do? I don't know even what to say to you people, but I know that everything I've done in my past messed my future up, right? I'm 40 and I got nothing. No RSPs. Like, when I'm old, man, I better think of something quick, right? Or I better do something where I start thinking, because I'm going to be old one day and I can't work, right? I have to realize that stuff, and I should have realized that when I was 20, but I didn't. I was too busy doing drugs, man. Too busy doing drugs. But I want all you guys to know that you can get off it. I never thought I could ever get clean. Who would ever think that BJ Hollow would be clean? I'm spitting when I'm talking. Holy God. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see people go through what I went through. Because I went through hell. Hell. Right? Hell. And I'm not kidding. It was hell. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't even know if I'm telling my story right. I don't know how to tell it. Like, how do I even tell how I messed my life up and ruined my life? I don't know. I hope this helps somebody, but you can't start, man, because once you start, it's going to be hard to stop. I get it with hash and weed, okay. You know, it's legal, it's not a drug. Okay, whatever. I don't believe weed's a drug because it has so many health purposes that it can help people and stuff. You know, like it's good for anxiety, all that stuff. But when you get into coke and pills and fentanyl and oxys and acid and ecstasy, this is where everybody can die. It only takes one time to take one thing and you die. I've been around people, I've been in places, people took something or did something, they're dead. I've looked over and they're dead on the ground, stiff, seized straight up. Like, I didn't know what to do. I left them there because I was high, right? I didn't want to be involved in all this cop shit, right? I got bodies around me, and here I am fucking tweaked right out of my head, you know? But my story, I just want you guys to know that I've been there, I've done it. I've done everything, and I got the bumper sticker to prove it, man. And I got the scars to prove it, too. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody to end up like I ended up, because I ended up a mess, right? And now I'm fixing everything. Like, I'm getting my family back. Hopefully, you know, like, it's going to take time. But I ruined my life. I hurt people mentally, physically, and emotionally, man. Like, I sleep every day or every night, and I have so many things that go through my head that I wish I never did. But I did it, and I can't change it. But I don't want you guys to go through the same shit that I went through, because it's not cool. It's not good. Drugs is not cool anymore, man. You know what I mean? If you guys are on it, I would advise you to get off it now, because it's getting worse than it was back in my day. Back in my day, it was a lot cleaner. Now, if you're a recovering drug addict and you come back to doing drugs after being clean for 5-10 years, you're going to die, because there's so much shit in that coke and heroin and everything now that you're not used to. You're going to do the same whack, same line, same sniff, same shit, and you're going to die, because there's chemicals in there that weren't in there 15 years ago, right? 1 microgram of fentanyl with 1 milligram of coke will kill anybody. It'll kill you. But like I say, I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm just talking about myself. It's just myself, right? I was the bad guy, right? So I wish I wasn't or did what I did, you know. I don't know what else to really say, guys. Like, I'll probably do a few more of these things. Things might come to my mind, you know. But just stay away from the hard drugs, because it is going to kill you. Guaranteed. I will guarantee you, I'll put my left leg on it, my right nut, and my arm, that if you get into it steadily, you're going to die, or you're going to catch diseases, and your life is going to be shot in one day. One day, you can ruin your whole life. Like I did. Ruined my whole life. Now I'm going to spend my time trying to fix my wrongs, right? If I can help some people don't do what I did, that's my goal. I don't want people to live like I lived, right? It might have been fun in my head at the time, but now that I think about the situations I was in, the guns I was around, the drugs I was around, dude, I'm alive. Woo-hoo-hoo! Fuck, man. Can't believe it. But I'm alive. I've had guns to my head. I've had guns in my mouth. I've had guns to the back of my head. You know? Luckily, these people didn't pull the triggers. But I've been lucky enough sometimes. I got the guns off these people, and I beat them with their own gun. That's how nuts I was, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, don't get involved in the heavy drugs, guys, because Once your body gets connected and immune to it, you're toast. You can't get off it. You literally will and can die trying to get off of these things, because it goes through your whole body, and your muscles, your bones, everything is immune to these drugs. Without them, they break, they ache, and they're in pain. Yeah, it doesn't work like that, man. You know, I just want you guys to listen to my story because it's a good one, right? And I still got so much stuff to say. I'm just breaking the ice right now, letting you know how I started. Started with the little things, and then it wasn't getting me high enough, and then I went up the scale, and then I was at the top of the ladder, you know? I've had scary days, man. You know? You ever walk into somebody's house, they close the door on you, you go into a room and it's covered in vapor barrier? You know what that's for? That's to cut you up in pieces and send you away somewhere. I've been in one of them rooms, and I made it out. Thank God I made it out. But I'll tell you, I almost lost my life getting out of that room. That room was supposed to be the end of my life, and it wasn't. I made sure of that, right? But after all that stuff happened, once my guys died that I was getting the pills off of, that's how I had to get clean. The people I was getting pills off of died. I had nowhere else to get my pills for the amount that I was taking. I was taking 10 80s a day. That's a lot of pills, people. A lot of pills. And once they died, I had no choice. I was going around beating people up to get their scripts. Beating people up to take their medicine. How messed up is that? Right? I'm in a city where nobody knows me, but yet everybody in that city is scared of me because I'm that guy that sells drugs and don't give a flying shenanigan about anybody. You can't hurt me because I love it. I love pain. You know, I was a mess. And I'm lucky I'm not in jail for the rest of my life. You know, I even got trials coming up. I got trials I got to go to because people are ratting on me for the shit I did back in the day. Right? They came after me and they were ratting on me. But look at the mess. I'm still dealing with it now. Right? You know what I mean? I don't know. But anyway, my point of all this is stay clean, guys, as long as you can. Don't get involved in this shit. If you are, I feel so sorry for you. You have to get help. And if you want help, I'm here for you. I'm here for anybody. I'm one message away. I'm one phone call away. I'm one away from anything. I'm here for you and everybody. Okay? So this isn't my last story. This is just, I'm breaking the ice for you guys. Okay? There's a lot more for me to tell, and I'll tell it. Right? I'll tell you my stories. That's how my YouTube channel is going to go. You're going to follow me through my life. Right? My journey is going to show you guys what can be done to fix your life, to change your life. And it's going to show you how, messed up your life can get if you stay in that life. Right? I will tell you some more stories about places and things I've been and seen, and it'll blow your mind. Right? But drugs take you there. They take you there, man. You know what I mean? So stay clean, guys, if you can. I'm not preaching. Do what you got to do. But if you want to get clean, I would do it now, guys, before it's too late. Because once you get so far in, it's almost impossible to get clean. You won't do it. I didn't do it. I literally had to be put in a coma to withdraw so I could come out not withdrawing and fight my addiction. I have an addiction to Oxycontins, and I'm always going to have them, right? That's my bad thing. That's my hell. Oxys are my hell, right? That's one reason why I came home, because my drug of choice isn't here. It's not here, right? And if it is, it's probably pressed and it's garbage. It's fucking full of fentanyl. But anyway, it's not, you don't want to be involved in the shit that I was involved in, right? That's all I'm saying, man. If you cannot do it, don't do it. If you do it, good luck to you, man. Because you know what? There's two ways it always ends. Jail or death. And that's no bullshit. Jail or death. You got to watch out because everybody's out to get everybody else, right? If people see you up, they're going to rat on you, right? I got a thing with rats. I'm always going to have a thing with rats. I hate rats, right? Because they're just jealous people they want to see everybody fall, okay? Like, you don't go ratting on people, right? Because people have problems. Help somebody, right? Don't try to make people suffer. Offer a hand of help. Like, help somebody, guys. Instead of trying to hurt everyone, help somebody, right? Who would think I would lend a helping hand instead of breaking your friggin' jaw, right? Ooh, I'd like to break jaws all goddamn day long if I could. But I can't, and I don't, and I won't, and I'm not, right? You know, that's the old me. The new me is the guy that's going to try to change stuff. I have to make it better. If I don't, I'm going to die alone. I don't want to die alone. I have a lot of love to give, right? I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy. I'm tuned very well. I was raised by women so I can think like a woman and I can be a man. You know what I mean? I got the best of both worlds. I have a great family and I love each and every one of them. But I'm trying to get them all back. And it's my fault. I ruined my life. But now through you guys is my therapy. I'm going to start doing this for my therapy because it helps me get all this shit out. If I don't get it out, if I get it in, I'm going to explode. Right? And I don't want to go back to what I was doing because I'll end up killing someone. Right? You know what I mean? And I don't want to do that. And I don't want to die either. Right? You know what I mean? So just, stay tuned, guys, because this is just day number 1 of my stuff, okay? Sober life, love life, all capital letters, guys. Subscribe. Subscribe, because you know what? It's going to get good. This could help people, right? And if not, you can help me during my journey. Comment. Tell me what you think. Help me help you, man. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I'm BJ Holland, man. That's all I know. And I know that I'm a mess. I'm not a mess now, but I was a mess. I needed help. I didn't have any. The government couldn't do nothing. No, we have to help each other, guys. When you see somebody struggling, ask if they need help. Because there's a good chance they do. Right? You ever want to talk to me, it's private. I'll never mention anything to anybody. But guys, please help yourselves. Get out of your hole now before it's too late. Okay? I love you guys. I will be back. This ain't the last. This is just the beginning. Sober life, guys. Sober life. All capital letters. Sober life, love life. Subscribe, comment, do whatever the hell you do it, however you work it. I don't know how you do it. I still don't even know what I'm doing here. But I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And I'm going to keep doing it. Okay? So listen, stay off drugs if you can. If you're on them, start to taper yourself off now, man, before you die. Because you know what? I have seen so many people die, guys.